Yo, what is going on, guys? I hope you're all well and having a brilliant day. Firstly, welcome back to all my returning subscribers and returning viewers. But if you are new around here, then on this channel we cover everything to do with Amazon's upcoming title New World. So if you're interested in New World and all the latest content on it, then be sure to smash that subscribe button. So, on my last video, I asked you guys to vote about which video you want me to make next. PvP clearly won, based on the title, but let me show you the breakdown of the votes. So on the screen now you can see that PvP got 60% of the votes, PvE got 20% of the votes, and an all items video also got 20% of the votes. If you did vote for PvE or an all items video, then fear not, those two videos will be coming up after this one. Guys, today's video is going to be awesome. We're going to be covering the Vanguard, preparing for war, the different siege weapons of war, including for attackers and defenders, and the various types of traps that you can use in war. Without further ado, let's get into it. Aeternum is a place of struggle. Not only will you have to contend with the forces of corruption, but you must also protect yourself from other players. Claiming a territory is a good first step to establishing a foothold, providing security and resources for the days ahead. But it also puts you at greater risk when someone else wants what you have. Before you can wage war on another faction's territory, you must first weaken that territory to the point where it is vulnerable enough to a war declaration. In order to do this, you must perform the required amount of faction missions. Guys, there are also elements of PvP when doing faction missions, and you get automatically flagged for PvP when doing certain ones. I've covered that extensively in my factions video, so I'm not going to touch on that today. Today is just going to be focusing on the war aspect within New World. So I'll link down in the description. If you haven't checked that out, then go check out the factions video as well. Right guys, and now let's move on to the Vanguard. When you go to war, you go on behalf of your faction. There are three factions that are constantly in a struggle to control Aeternum. A faction is made up of different companies that have declared their loyalty to that specific faction. When the required tasks have been completed to put a territory into a conflict state, there is a lottery to decide what company will lead the charge into battle. If your company has been selected as the Vanguard, the governor can select members of their company to fill the attacking ranks for a 50 versus 50 war. If they have enough members, they can fill the war entirely with members from their own company. However, if a smaller company is selected, they can pick anyone from their faction or even pick volunteers from the third faction to be involved in the war. For example, if a company from the Syndicate has declared war on a territory owned by the Marauders and they don't have enough warriors to fill their ranks, they can enlist help from members of the Covenant. If you would like to offer up your sword and volunteer for wars, you must travel to the territory where the war is to be fought and sign up on the war boards in the settlement or outside the fort. Guys, now we're going to look at how you prepare for war. Wars will take place in specific windows of time that are set by the defending company. Being able to set the time the war takes place helps for better coordination and participation in the wars. This also removes the potential for offline raiding or wars to take place during inconvenient hours for the majority of the members involved. If you have been selected to participate in a war, then congratulations, you're about to experience the pinnacle of PvP in New World. Once you have been selected to fight, make sure you are logged in and ready to go, because you'll get a notification before the war begins. When the time comes for battle, you'll be teleported from where you are in Aeternum straight into the battlefield. The attacking army will attempt to breach the walls of the fort and capture its claim, thus taking over ownership of the whole territory for their faction. Before any fort gates can be damaged and breached, the attackers must first capture 3 rally points in front of the fort. Once captured, they cannot be retaken by the defenders, and the front line is pushed ever closer. Rally points can be used by the attacking team as respawn points or to access the armory. The defending team will use everything at their disposal to repel the invaders. Now let's take a look at the weapons of war. An extra layer of strategy and tactics are introduced to the equation when you start building siege weapons and siege platforms. As an attacker, you can spend your battle tokens at the war camp's armory to acquire siege weapon platforms and build on them on the battlefield. This is similar to how they are acquired and used in invasions. You gain additional battle tokens by contributing to the battle. The defending fort will be able to build siege weapons along their walls to help fend off the attack. These siege weapons won't come at a cost to the defenders, but just how powerful these siege weapons are will be dictated by how they have been upgraded through the territory's progression system prior to the war. So if you want to protect your fort with the strongest siege weapons available, make sure you're doing the required town projects back at your company settlement. There are multiple entry points to the fort, which defenders will need to divide their attention and siege weapons between. Defenders also have siege supplies that are auto-generated during the war by siege supply generators. These resources can be used to repair structures including gates, armories, siege supply generators and siege weapons. Siege weapons and platforms are a game changer in war. Let's start by taking a look at the attacking siege weapons now. Guys, the cannon platform that you can see on the screen now has a medium fire rate and the highest damage per hit. The cannon is most effective against structures and large and slow moving targets. Several cannons focusing their fire can quickly demolish any defensive structure. What you guys are looking at now on the screen is a very impressive contraption. It's called the Fire Launcher platform. The Fire Launcher launches a flaming projectile that bursts on impact and covers the area in fire. It is most effective against infantry and is a good way to counter ranged opponents shooting from the fort ramparts. It is also very effective at area denial and keeping opponents out of the capture points. This next siege weapon looks like it's taken some inspiration from the Gatling gun. This is the Repeater platform. The Repeater is a rapid fire turret that launches bolts at very high speeds. Individually, the bolts don't do a lot of damage, but sustained fire can quickly whittle down infantry. It's most effective against smaller and quicker targets that other turrets are having a hard time hitting. Alright guys, let's move on to the siege weapons that defenders can use. What you're looking at here guys is the Ballista. It's a defensive version of the cannon and serves the same role as an anti-structure siege weapon. It has a medium rate of fire and very high damage per shot, and it is the most effective against structures and large and slow moving targets. Guys, this is the explosive cannon. The cannon fires an explosive shot that disrupts and knocks enemies back. It's most effective against groups of infantry and provides area denial. Guys, this is going to be very important to use on the rally points at the front of the fort. However, its low rate of fire makes it largely ineffective against fast moving targets. This is the defender's version of the Repeater. It's functionally the same as the attackers, the high rate of fire, the low damage per shot, and most effective against smaller and quicker targets. This is the Fire Dropper. The Fire Dropper pours burning, molten liquid down on anyone below. It does high damage over time, making it most effective against groups of enemies attacking the gate. Guys, this is the Horn of Resilience. The Horn of Resilience provides a temporary healing and defensive buff to all allies in the area. It has a lengthy cooldown however, but it can turn the tide of a battle when used at the right moment. I think this is going to be very pivotal when the attacking forces are just breaking through the front gate. If someone was to sound the horn then, give all your allies a big buff just when you're about to go into a massive conflict. Guys, up next we have traps. These are available to both attackers and defenders. The first trap that we're going to take a look at is the Inferno Mine, as you can see on the screen now. When an enemy gets close enough, the Inferno Mine bursts and covers the area in fire. It is highly effective at area denial and most effective when placed at choke points. The next trap is the Powder Keg, and believe me when I tell you, this is not a keg you want to be chugging with the boys. The Powder Keg does highest damage of any siege weapon, making it extremely effective against gates. Its fuse must be lit manually and has a lengthy duration. The Powder Keg won't detonate if it's destroyed early, requiring players to actively defend it. Once the war has come to its climatic end, players on both sides of the conflict will be teleported off the battlefield so that they continue their adventures in Eternum. If you want to win honour and glory in the name of your faction, wars must be waged and the stakes couldn't be higher. It's winner takes all. Should the attacking army prevail, they now control the territory and everything in it, planting a new flag in the name of their faction and pushing the front lines forward towards total domination. Guys, that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed it. If you did enjoy it, please consider smashing the like button and leaving a nice comment down below, letting me know how I can improve for my next video. In the next two videos guys, I will be covering PvE and all the items that you can get in New World. If you're not subscribed, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so that you don't miss out. This has been Ragnar Gaming, and I wish you all a very good day.